Decay. I asked a woman who was dying, "Who are you now?" She said, "In all those roles I had, I felt so common. I felt like I had lived a life so many other people could have lived. What made my life different from anyone else? What I have realized through my illness was so eye-opening for me. I'm truly a unique person no one else has ever seen or experienced in the world in quite the way I have, and no one else ever will. Since the beginning of time until the end of time, there will never be another me. This is as true for you as it was for her. No one has ever experienced the world in quite the way you have, with your particular history and the events that happened to you. Who you are is unique beyond comprehension, but not until we discover who we truly are and can we begin to celebrate our uniqueness. Many people have serious breakdowns when they realize they don't know who they are. Trying to get to know themselves for the first time is a daunting task. They realize that they don't know how to react to themselves as opposed to who they think they should be. When people are hit with life-challenging diagnoses, they may for the first time have to figure out who they are. Asking ourselves, "Who is dying?" usually leads to answer that a part of ourselves doesn't die, but continues, has always been. When the day comes that we are ill and can no longer be the banker, traveler, doctor, or coach, we have to ask ourselves an important question. If I am not those things, then who am I? If you are no longer the nice guy at the office, the selfish uncle, the helpful neighbor, who are you? Discovering and being authentic to ourselves, finding out what we want to do, not want to do. We do this by being committed to our own experiences. We must do everything because it brings us joy and peace, from the job we have to do clothes we wear. If we do something that makes ourselves worthy in the eyes of others, we are not seeing the worth in ourselves. It's amazing how much more we live by what we should do than by what we want to do. Once in a while, give it to urge and you would usually suppress. Try doing something odd or new. You may learn something about who you are or ask yourself what you would do if no one was looking. If you could do anything you wanted without consequences, what would it be? Your answer to that question reveals a lot about who you are, or at least what is in your way. Your answer may point to a negative belief about yourself or a lesson to work on before you can discover your essence. If you say you would steal, you probably fear that you do not have enough. If you say you would lie, you probably do not feel safe telling the truth. If you say you would love someone whom you are not loving now, you may fear love. Decay. I always rushed around on vacations, getting up early in the morning, seeing and doing as many things as possible during the day, returning to my hotel late at night, exhausted. Finally realizing that I never had any fun on my vacations, that they were unstressful, I asked myself that what I would do if nobody was looking. The answer was that I'd sleep late, see a few sights at the leisurely pace, and sit on the veranda or beach for at least an hour a day reading a good book or just doing nothing. The role of enthusiastic vacationer, seeing absolutely everything, wasn't me. I did it because I thought I should, but I was much happier when I realized I had more fun and learned more when I mixed sightseeing with relaxing. What would you do if your parents, society, boss, teacher weren't around? How would you define yourself? Who is under all that stuff? That's the real you. At the age of 60, Tim, the father of three daughters, had a heart attack. He had been a good father to the now grown trio, whom he had raised as his own. After the heart attack, he began to examine his life. I realized it was not only my arteries that had hardened, he explained. I had hardened. It happened years ago when my wife died. I needed to be strong. I wanted the girls to grow up strong too. So I was tough on them. Now that task is over, I'm 60, my life will soon be over. I don't want to be tough anymore. I want the girls to know that they have a father who loves them very much. In his hospital room, he told his daughter about his love. They had always known about it, but this softening brought tears to everyone's eyes. He no longer felt he had to be the father he should be, and may have had to have been back then. Instead, he could be the person he was inside. We're not all geniuses like Einstein or great athletes like Michael Jordan, but chipping away the excess will allow us to be brilliant in one way or another depending on our own gifts. Who you are is the purest of love, the grandest kind of perfection. You are here to heal yourself and to remember who you have always been. It is your guiding light in the darkness, trying to find out who you are and will lead you to the work you need to do, the lessons you need to learn. When our inner and outer beings are one, we no longer need to hide fear or protect ourselves. We see who we are as something that transcends our circumstances. Decay. Late one evening, I was speaking to a man in hospice. He was suffering from ALS, low grade disease. What's the hardest part of this experience for you? I asked. The hospitalization? The disease? No, he replied. The hardest part is that everyone sees me in the past tense, something that once was. No matter what's going on with my body, I will still be a whole person. That there is a part of me that is not definable and doesn't change, that I will not lose and does not disappear with age or disease. There is a part of myself that I cling to. That is who I am, and that is who I will always be. The man discovered that the essence of who he was went way beyond what was going on with his body. How much money he had made or how many children he had fathered. After we stripe away these rules, we are what's left. There is within each of us a potential for goodness beyond our imagining, for giving without seeking reward, for listening without judging, for loving unconditionally. That potential is our goal. We can approach it in large ways and small ways every minute of the day if we try. Many people touched by illness and wishing to touch others have worked through their growth. They move toward a completion of their unfinished business and are now in a position to light candles for others. Who we are means honoring the integrity of our human selves. That sometimes includes those dark parts of our beings that we often try to hide. We think sometimes we're only drawn to the good, but we're actually drawn to the authentic. We like people who are real more than those who hide their true selves under layers of artificial nicety. EKR. Years ago, at the University of Chicago Medical School, I was fortunate to be selected as favorite professor. This was one of the biggest honors we professors could receive. We all wanted to be recognized by our students. The day it was announced that I had won, everyone acted nicely towards me as they usually did, but no one said anything to me about the award. I sensed something behind their smiles, something they weren't saying. Toward the end of the day, a gorgeous flower arrangement arrived at my office from one of my colleagues. A child psychiatrist. The card reads, "Jealous as hell. Congratulations anyway." From that moment on, I knew I could trust that man. I loved him for being so real, so authentic. I'd always feel that I knew where he stood and feel safe around him because he showed his true self. The grandest kind of perfection of who we are includes being honest about our dark sides, our imperfections. We find comfort when we know who someone else is, and it is just as important as we learn the truth about ourselves, the truth about who we are. A man shared the story of his grandmother, who in her late 70s was very ill. I was having much trouble letting her go. He explained. I finally got up the courage to say to her, "Nana, I don't think I can let you go." I know that sounds selfish, but it's what I felt. "My dear one," she replied, "I am complete. My life has been full and whole. I know you must see me not being full of much life anymore, but I assure you, I have brought much life to my journey. We are like a pie. We give a piece to our parents, we give a piece to our loves, we give a piece to our children, and we give a piece to our careers. At the end of life, some people have not saved a piece for themselves and don't even know what kind of pie they were. I know what kind of pie I am. This is something we find for ourselves. I can live this life knowing who I am." When I heard those words, "I now know who I am," I could let her go. That did it for me. It sounded so complete. I told her when it was my time to die, I hoped I would be like her and know who I am. She leaned forward as if to tell me a secret and said, "You don't have to wait until you are dying to find out what kind of pie you are."